Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum dvesham tathagato yamata desham chayo nirodha evam vadimashamaye swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhavam hetum dvesham tathagato yamata desham chayo nirodha evam vadimashamaye swaha. Om ye dhamma hetu prabhavam hetum desham tathagato yamata desham chayo nirodha evam vadimashamaye swaha. Sangye Jodan Sangye Chanamba Chanjo Bado Dane Gyatsurshi Dage Jinsangye Betsanangye Drola Benje Sangye Drobarasho Sangye Jodan Sangye Chanamba Chanjo Bado Dane Gyatsurshi Dage Jinsangye Betsanangye Drola Benje Sangye Drobarasho Sangye Jodan Sangye Chanamba Chanjo Bado Dane Gyatsurshi Dage Jinsangye Betsanangye Drola Benje Sangye Drobarasho. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of the practice, the keeping and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of practice, the keeping and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. My accumulations of practice, the keeping and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, this morning we were doing the 4 seals. The first seal, the first one, all composite is impermanent. Impermanence, we're talking about how it has 2 levels, gross and the sub-impermanence. Gross impermanence referring to the impermanence where the continuum terminates, where the continuum ceases. And this is again a very important question that we need to think of. In this regard, and we also need to bear in mind that the composite phenomena, some of which are composite phenomena in general, it is of 3 kinds. Say 1, whose continuum never comes to an end. Number 2, whose continuum automatically comes to an end. Automatically comes to an end, number 2. Then number 3, whose continuum, if you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will never come to an end. There are 3 kinds. Impermanence, there are 3 kinds. This morning we took 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. Now I'm classifying the impermanence in a different way. 1, where no matter what you do, the continuum of the phenomena, the continuum of the impermanent phenomena will never come to an end. And I'll ask you for examples. Number 1. Number 2 is impermanent phenomena where no matter how you try to continue, automatically it will come to an end. Automatically it will come to an end. Number 2. Number 3, impermanent phenomena where if you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will keep going. Okay, there are 3 kinds. I'd like you to give some examples. Number 1, impermanent where the continuum never terminates, never
come to an end. Can you give me some examples?
The time?
Time, very good. Yes, time never ceases, never stops. Although there is discussion in physics about the Big Bang theory as to how the time and space originate from the singularity, physics singularity, and then the so this is the beginning of the time. But what the physics is all about, within physicists, there are divergent views. Some say that Big Bang is one, and some say multiple Big Bangs. Still, it is not settled. This one point. Then those who advocate multiple Big Bangs, they talk about the Big Bang, again Big Crunch, again Big Bang, Big Crunch. This is what they're talking about, the multiple Big Bangs. This is one part. So these are all theories. These are all what they believe. Still not yet settled. Time is one. Time. Where the continuum never ends, number one. Any other examples? The mind. There's a mind. Mind per se, mind. Mind never comes to an end. Mind never comes to an end. For example, Dorji's mind. Dorji's mind will come to an end. Dorji's mind. Meaning that Dorji is confined to one life. One life. This life terminates, the mind of Dorji terminates. But my mind, and Dorji's mind, these are slightly different. You see the difference? My mind. Mind means I. This I existed since time immemorial, will go in the future, right? And is in the present. So this I exists in all three times. Yet this I is not permanent. It's impermanent. It's an ongoing change. Yet it continues endlessly. Likewise, the mind of that self, the mind of this person, will also continue endlessly. But Dorji, when you speak about Dorji is just one chunk of that whole episode of the self, which exists in three times. Dorji is one part of this. Dorji as a human being, this life. Okay, so the mind in general, or my mind, your mind, exists, will never terminate. Good example, any more examples?
The 4 elements.
4 elements, okay, that's interesting. 4 elements. Okay, for the time being, okay, so the metaphysically speaking, answer is yes. The 4 elements, they exist forever. Yes. Very good. Any more examples?
Buddha's life? Buddha's existence?
Existence of the Buddha. Okay. Existence of Buddha, yes. When one becomes a Buddha, you are forever Buddha. You will never come back as a sentient being. That's true. Yes. So it never terminates. Okay, very good. Now number 2. What is number 2? Impermanent phenomena whose continuum invariably terminates. No matter what you do, invariably terminates. Can you give me some examples?
Every phenomenon with a beginning.
No, give me a very precise example. Don't say all composite thing. Say something very precise. Okay, Tashi. Okay, Tashi and I, these two are different. Don't forget it. These two are different. I and Dorji, these two are slightly different. Right? I will never terminate. Dorji will terminate. Okay, if you are a little confused, don't worry. If you are a little confused, their confusion is so good. This confusion will make you to explore. What is this distinction? Right? I and Dorji, this was the same. Right? Thomas and you, are these two same or different?
Different. What difference?
Okay, which means confused. Okay, if there is a little confusion, what is this? What difference? What are you talking about difference? Okay, this This is extremely important. This is where we need to go to the nuances. You getting it? Okay. This is what we have to discuss. Okay, now number 3. Okay, more examples. More examples? Yes, Howard.
3 you want, yes?
So,
Number 3, yeah?
number 2, which invariably terminates. Impermanent phenomena which invariably terminates.
These flowers.
Okay, these flowers. These flowers invariably terminates. Yes. Over a period of time, maybe about like 5 or 10 days, it'll go away. Any more examples? Yes, Pamela?
Food from lunch.
Huh?
Food from lunch. Lunch food.
Okay, lunch food. Lunch food will never terminate. Because after 200 years, still there's going to be lunch food.
Oh, how about
Virginia?
ma voiture?
Huh?
Ma voiture.
Okay, Virginia's virtue. Oh, I see. Okay, Virginia's car. Your car. Your car is complicated because in your next life also you will have a car. This one. Okay, Virginia's this life's car. That will come to an end, guaranteed. Very true. Okay, any more points? Yes, the Jane. Life, interesting. Life will okay. Okay, now everybody's becoming like a magician. Very good. Jane, overnight you become just in 2 seconds. 2 minutes you become a magician. Okay, life in general will never terminate. But this life of this particular person, Dorji, Jane, that is the what? Will terminate. Very good. Any more examples?
La jeunesse.
Huh?
La jeunesse.
Youth.
Youth. Okay. Youth will be always there. Youth of a specific person. Youth of Dorji when he was young. Youth of Dorji when he was young, that terminates. Okay, Martin.
Le jour, non. Ce jour, cette nuit.
This day, this night,
This day, this night,
This
but
day.
not day or night.
but not day and night.
This day will never come to an end. This day will never come to an end. Tomorrow also you will say this day. Right? Day after tomorrow you will say this day. After 200 years again people will say this day. This day will never come to an end.
Si j'ai bien compris, je vais dire par exemple les rêves. Les rêves sont des phénomènes qui sont permanents mais qui nécessairement se terminent.
Dreams. No, dream will continue.
Et continue.
Yeah. After 2000 years people will continue to dream.
D'accord.
Today also dream. 2000 years before they dream. Right? Okay, Sophia.
This earth and the sun.
Huh?
This earth, la terre, and the sun.
Okay, this earth. This earth. Okay. This earth
Terre.
will terminate?
Yes.
Okay. If Isabel says terminate, we'll just terminate. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Is any new hands? Okay, we have enough examples. Very good. Those terminate is quite easy. But the point is we have to, if you reflect on this, then the real sense of urgency will come. Right? There are so many examples of the impermanent phenomena which terminates. There are so many examples out there. But if you don't reflect on these as to what these are, for example, let's say something is quite in Israel, where we were doing one retreat, there's a place where the cactus plant, it was just like one leaf giving rise to next leaf. It's like huge. Just look at this. Then it's not my meditation. I'll just look at it and it gives me a very profound feeling of sadness. Hundreds of years gone. For this cactus, one leaf to grow, Surely it will take like maybe 1 to 2 years. And then it goes like this, which means that for hundreds of years this has been going like this. Slowly but constantly working. This much of time already lands. This is how our life goes. It is a very painful experience. Is this what life is? We don't see that. Now with these examples you see. Okay, so it's very important for us to reflect on the gross impermanence. Impermanence, where the continuum terminates. This is very important. And on that basis, say, sometimes I personally, when I hear somebody is going through cancer, I also personally, people say, please pray for me, or please pray for my brother, my sister, my this, my that, my friend, so forth. Of course, I have to say, yes, I'll pray, but deep inside I have to be mindful that in one day, somebody may to request somebody else, oh, Geshe is now suffering from cancer, then please pray for him. Right? This can happen. So, but if I say that I am in the same boat, if I say this, then they will feel demoralized. So I'll go, it's not like I'm a permanent. Yes, sure, I'll pray, I'll try to console something. But deep inside, we are in the same boat. We have to also be mindful. Oh, I'm lucky that I'm not suffering now. So whatever little time that I'm now, anytime, within few days, few months, few years, I can be diagnosed with cancer. Anytime, that is a fact. It's not, we cannot run away from this. So we reflect on this, then the time that we have becomes proved to be very precious. I have no time to wait. For example, one day a time will come where, okay, now you have a cancerous tumor. Finish. When that happens, okay, then what will be the situation? Too late. So now, whatever little time that I've had, maybe one day, few months, few years, I'm lucky. So this time, I'll not waste it. I'll meditate on emptiness, I'll meditate on bodhicitta, I'll meditate on impermanence. That will be very, very helpful. This is how we have to reflect. Even, of course, it's quite scary. While you're not suffering from cancer, and you hear about somebody who is suffering from cancer, and then you think, okay, one day it will hit me also. Anytime it will hit me. Okay, when that day comes, what's that line? It's scary, right? Then you don't dare to think of this. It's pointless. We should be courageous to think of that. Be courageous to think of that, and this will drive us into Dhamma practice. So this, one will never be spared from this experience, whether you are in the 5-star hotel, whether you're in the king's palace, whether you're in the president's house. No excuse. This will never spare you wherever you are. This is known as the truth of the samsara. So this, the more we reflect on this, then you will see that wherever we go is just the same. It's not that I have to run somewhere. No, there's no place to run somewhere. This samsara. If you really want to run away from samsara. How to run away from samsara? Cut the root. What's the root? Self-grasping ignorance. Cut the self-grasping ignorance. How to cut the self-grasping ignorance? The wisdom of emptiness. No excuse. It's not that, okay, I'm not a Geshe, I'm not a Kempo, I'm not a this, I'm not that. So wisdom of emptiness is not really for me. For me, I can do little prostration, money, no. As long as you don't want this suffering, you have to look for wisdom of emptiness. This is what we have to do. And you can do. It's not that you can't do, you can do. And oftentimes people say sometimes you meet with, even maybe some Geshes or some people who are a little bit exposed to Buddhist philosophy. When you talk about emptiness to them, hey, it's very high level, it's not very for you and me. Very demoralizing, very discouraging. This is not the reality. For you don't want anybody to say that emptiness is difficult. You don't look for people who tell you that emptiness is difficult. Don't also look for people who say that emptiness is very easy. It is not that easy. It is not that difficult. If you put effort, you will get it. You will get it. If you don't put effort, it will never come automatically. But simply by attaining one empowerment, you will not get it. Many people, we seek shortcuts. We think that with the blessings of somebody, then you don't put effort, then you'll get it. It will never happen. But it is not that if you put effort, it's not that this is only for the high scholars, learned scholars. No. Even you will get it if you put effort, if you know how to put the right effort. So when you put the right effort from now, emptiness is a very intricate subject. Very intricate subject. So therefore you must do very systematic studies. For example, say the Kalachakra Center, then Vajrayogini Center, then the Nalanda Center, and Tibet also we have the Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course. All these courses, they are meant to give you a very systematic study, systematic introduction to these courses. So, systematic introduction to the emptiness. And finally, no excuse. Say whether you are Geshe, whether you are Rinpoche, whether you are an ordinary person, no excuse. Emptiness, without emptiness, there is no way by which we can run away from samsara. This is the point. Okay, with this, what I'm saying is that it is good for us to remember impermanence, where the continuum ceases. This is one. Then number 3. What's number 3?
Je voudrais revenir sur le samsara. Le samsara n'a pas de début ni de fin, mais les êtres dans le samsara ont un début ou une fin.
Maybe the samsara has no beginning and end, but for some beings,
Some beings there is end.
Mais les êtres qui sont dans le samsara ont un début et une fin.
For some beings, you can have a beginning and an end. Samsara.
Okay, samsara, there was never a beginning. But for some beings, there is end, but there is no beginning. Don't worry if there is no beginning. Worry if there is no end. Right? There is no beginning, but if you put effort, there's end. You are right. So samsara is example. Samsara, my samsara, your samsara, right? My mother's samsara, my father's samsara, each one of us, our samsara. That's samsara. If you put effort, we can bring end to this. If you don't put effort, it will never come to an end automatically. This is a very good example. Okay, any other examples? Any other examples of impermanent phenomena? Which impermanent phenomena, with the continuum of which, if you put effort, will come to an end. If you don't put effort, will never come to an end automatically. Okay, Virginia?
I have a question for the samsara. You said that it doesn't come to an end, but when all sentient beings will be liberated, that means that there will be samsara.
When all sentient beings become enlightened,
Yes.
become enlightened, then what happens to samsara?
Yes.
Is this question?
Yes.
Okay. When all sentient beings become enlightened meaning become Buddhas,
Yes.
what happens to samsara?
Yes.
Okay, then that's the best news. Samsara, the what? The samsara administration stops. There's no administration process. Yeah. Enrollment stops. Samsara enrollment stops. No one there. That's good. No samsara. Yes. Okay, in other words, samsara, this is what we're saying. Samsara is an impermanent phenomenon, the continuum of which, if you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will go endlessly. Very good. Any more examples?
Cultivation of wisdom, emptiness. Cultivation of emptiness.
Okay, cultivation of emptiness.
Realization of emptiness.
Realization of emptiness, what? So that.
And stop the
Okay, the realization of emptiness. If you put effort in the realization of emptiness, then samsara will come to an end. And if you don't put effort in the realization of emptiness, samsara will never come to an end. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, very good. Yeah, so how samsara will come to an end is only if you put effort in the wisdom of emptiness. Otherwise, it will never come to an end automatically. The samsara will never come to an end automatically. Yes. Any more examples? Or?
ignorance.
Ignorance, very good. If you put effort, it will come to an end. If you don't put effort, it will never come to an end automatically. Okay, Lucia? Ignorance, attachment, all these negative emotions. Negative emotions, they will come to an end if you put effort. If you don't put effort, we can't expect to go for the shortcut or wait that it automatically comes to an end. Okay, very good. So with this, Acharya Dharmakirti is the 7th century great saint scholar. What is said is that when the Buddha taught to meditate on the suffering, the Buddha meant the 3rd level of suffering, pervasive, conditioned suffering. Okay, so to understand the 3rd level of suffering, we have to understand the subtle impermanence. We have to understand the subtle impermanence, and then we can go to the 2nd seal. What's the 2nd seal? What's the 2nd seal? All contaminated things are of subtle nature. Okay, so the 2nd seal is the reflection. Okay, by the way, the Jane, Amina, and who else? And Jerome. 3 of you, did you learn about the 4 noble truths? You have your respective teachers. Teachers taught or not taught? Huh?
No time.
Well, not now.
No.
Okay. So the teachers should be under penalty. Okay, who are the teachers? Well, Amina is the teacher. Okay.
That's our appointment for
Okay, you didn't get time. Okay, what about the Jane, your teacher? Who's your teacher? Mary. Okay, Mary. And what about Jerome, your teacher? Nora. Okay. So so somehow tomorrow no excuse. Okay, all of you should know these things. Okay, now let's go to this. To know the subtle suffering, only if we know the subtle suffering. Okay, let's say the first the suffering general is of 3 kinds: suffering, change, and pervasive conditioned suffering. And then there are variations, a little bit of translation, doesn't matter. Suffering change, and pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay, what does it mean by suffering? Anybody, real quick? Okay, Jane.
L'attachement à la souffrance.
The attachment towards suffering.
Attachment towards?
Suffering.
Attachment to suffering, wow. Attachment to suffering. Who's attached to suffering?
Par exemple, quelqu'un qui est fumeur et qui va en plus, qui va pas arrêter de fumer, qui va en plus se culpabiliser et d'être responsabilisé pour arrêter de souffrir.
Okay, Jane should put the mic. Yes, you have to listen.
So someone, for example, someone who smokes, and on the top of that has some guiltiness about that.
Say it again.
Someone who would smoke tobacco,
Who smokes?
who will feel guilty about that.
Oh, the pain of the guilt over smoking. The pain of guilt over smoking. This is the suffering. The manifest suffering. Yes, that's true. Okay, anybody who would tell me what does it mean by suffering? Not just some examples. What does it mean by suffering? Okay, Howard.
So I think it's to distinguish it from other kinds of suffering, like suffering with change and things like that. So if you have suffering with suffering, then you're actually in a physical state of suffering at the time, like maybe from pain or from distress. You can actually.
Okay, physical distress.
It's a very visible.
Okay, visible suffering.
Form of suffering.
Okay, visible suffering. visible suffering is known as suffering of suffering. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Like giving a hand.
Yes, Venerable Elizabeth.
Getting depressed.
Okay, so if you understand my question, what's my question? Huh?
La définition
What's my question?
de la souffrance à la souffrance.
Sophia?
The definition of suffering of suffering.
Okay, I don't really see definition. Sophia is very strict. Sophia wants definition, right? So what I said is, what do you mean by suffering of suffering? What do you mean by suffering? I'm not asking for the illustrations. I'm not asking for the examples. I'm asking, so what do you understand by suffering of suffering, right? Sophia, if she becomes a teacher, everybody will learn things so fast. Definition. Okay, Amina.
That's mean you suffer 2 times.
Huh?
Suffering 2 times. That's mean you cause the suffering and you blame yourself.
Okay. So Amina's question is because there are two words, suffering. Okay, so Amina, this is a very technical term. Don't try to interpret in your own ways. It is a technical term, right? Okay, Thomas.
Porter un jugement sur ce qu'on vit.
To judge what we are living. Porter un jugement sur ce qu'on vit.
Oui, mais dans le sens un jugement péjoratif.
A negative judgment about what we live. About what we are going through.
Okay, Thomas is a philosopher, right? Okay. Let us listen to all the answers. Okay, Camilla.
Maybe just dissatisfaction.
Okay, dissatisfaction.
Yeah, it could be physical, it could be mental, but just not being at ease, not having nothing satisfied.
Okay, dissatisfaction is physical or mental? Is always mental. Dissatisfaction, always mental. Okay, 2 Virginias are there. Okay, the Virginia 2018.
I would say being confronted to unpleasant situation and being separated from pleasant situation.
Okay, means that the pain of being separated from the pleasant situation. Okay, being separated from the pleasant situation and brought to the unpleasant situation. This is what you're saying. Okay, this is one example, right? This example of suffering. What I'm asking is, what's the meaning of suffering? I'm not too strict to say definition, but I would say meaning. Okay, second day 2019, Virginia.
Physical pain or mental pain?
Physical pain or mental pain? Okay, that's interesting. Physical pain or mental pain? The joy of, okay, physical pain. That's interesting. Physical pain or mental pain. That's interesting. Okay. I agree with you. Yes. I agree with you. Anybody else? Yes.
Les souffrances dues aux attachements.
Suffering due to attachment.
Suffering due to attachment. Okay, let's say suffering due to attachment. Okay, if somebody scolds you and you become unhappy, is that suffering due to attachment?
La colère, par exemple.
Anger, for instance.
Huh?
Anger, for instance.
Oh, yes. But the question is, but the anger is purely mental. Anger is purely mental, it is not physical. So what the Virginia 2019 said is that the physical, not only mental, also physical pain. Physical or mental pain. Okay. Yes, Mike?
Because we're all interconnected, when I suffer, the people around me also suffer. So to me, that would be suffering of suffering.
Okay. Okay. Now there are 2 interesting definitions coming up. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Okay, now here, sharp.
La sensation de souffrance. It's the feeling of suffering.
The feeling of suffering. Okay, feeling of suffering. Very good. Feel of suffering can be physical or mental, both.
Yeah.
Very both. Yes, yes. Okay, anyone? Kunyala?
Any kind of pain.
Any kind of pain. Okay, what do you mean by pain? Okay, Patrick.
L'expérience de la souffrance.
Experience of suffering. Experience suffering. What do you mean by suffering? This question. There are three kinds of suffering. Okay, on.
Les sensations désagréables.
Unpleasant feeling.
Unpleasant?
Feeling.
Unpleasant feeling. Okay, that's good. Okay, I agree. Okay, maybe last.
Evident suffering is obvious.
Okay, the obvious suffering, the evident suffering. Okay, so what I would say is that the what Virginian 2019 said is correct, and then the what Oath said is correct, and then the say to put it in a form of meaning is the evident suffering, suffering which everybody identifies as suffering. Suffering, a pain, which anybody identifies as suffering. For example, headache. Nobody said, oh, this is such a fun, you're so lucky to have a headache, you're so lucky to have tension. Everybody will identify that as suffering. So, a suffering which everybody identifies as suffering, in other words, manifest, evident suffering, is known as suffering of suffering. Which means, okay, it simply means suffering, just the mere thought of this, everybody will identify that as suffering. Okay, what's the second suffering? Suffering change. Okay, is there anybody who can give me some examples of a suffering change? Some examples. Now examples. Martin?
C'est quand on a un manque, quelque chose a changé, quelque chose de plaisant a cessé. Et on souffre de ne plus avoir ce qu'on avait d'agréable.
We had something which was pleasant, and when it ceases, then we suffer because we don't have it anymore.
Okay, which is the suffering? The pleasantness is the suffering, or when you don't have it, that is the suffering?
When it stops.
Huh?
When it stops.
Okay, when it stops. When you have it, it's not suffering. When it stops is the problem. When it does not stop, it's no problem. Okay, that is not suffering. When it stops, it becomes suffering. It becomes manifest suffering.
When pleasant thing stops, we feel.
Yes, that's true. When you're having the cheesecake, you're happy. The moment the cheesecake finishes, then you feel okay. Now the cheesecake finishes. Then you start feeling the pain. So that is the manifest suffering. Everybody will identify that as suffering, right? So that is suffering, not suffering change. Okay, an example, suffering change. Maria.
La souffrance, tout simplement, de se mettre au soleil quand on a envie et que c'est agréable, et au bout d'une heure, on est dans la souffrance parce que le soleil brûle. Le même objet est transformé de plaisir en souffrance.
So, for instance, we go outside in the sunlight, and so for 1 hour, and in the beginning it's pleasant, then it becomes something like pain. So, that is an example.
Okay, when you go out the sunlight, you will feel pleasant. Then for about 1 hour, then it starts to burn you. Then you start to feel the pain. This is what you're saying? This suffering change? Okay, so which one? The first moment when you are sunlight, that is the suffering change? Or after about 1 hour, then you start feeling the burn. That is suffering change. Which of two is the suffering change?
From the beginning, it's from the beginning.
Okay, from the beginning. Okay, the Sophia, and Sophia?
Example, attachment to someone.
Okay, attachment to someone. That's interesting. Attachment to someone. Okay. Attachment to something. That's interesting. Why attachment to someone is, what's the problem?
Because you think he will make you happy every time. You're thinking the person.
You think that the person will make you happy all the time?
And it's not true.
Okay, it's not true. Your attachment to the Buddha? Buddha makes you happy sometimes, but every time it's not true. You see what I'm saying? Okay, this year.
Aging death.
Aging and death. Okay, aging and death is suffering change.
Yeah.
How?
Because you're getting young and then you're slowly going old.
Okay, this everybody identifies this problem, right? Everybody identifies that there's a problem. Okay, now I'm aging, I'm so happy. Nobody likes it. Everybody identifies as that there is suffering. So what is a suffering which is identified as suffering by all, by everybody, is known as suffering of suffering. Okay, Laura.
Receiving a wonderful gift.
Receive a wonderful gift. What's the problem?
Because eventually the gift will break or you will say it.
Oh, don't break it, then keep it nicely. Huh? Keep it nicely, so what's the problem?
The problem is it's a permanent phenomenon, so it'll change and you'll eventually feel sad that it broke or...
Also, because it undergoes change, this is the problem.
Yes.
So Buddha's mind is also suffering change. Buddha's mind also changes. Right?
That's not a problem.
That is problem, not this is my problem. My problem is, if something is changed, this is a problem. This is what you're saying, right?
No. Can you go back to your previous question?
Huh?
Does the Buddhist mind change?
Say it again.
Does the Buddhist
Of course, Buddha's mind is a composite phenomena. All composite phenomena are impermanent. Okay, Virginia 2018.
En fait, c'est ce que l'on prend pour du plaisir, mais qui en fait est juste la diminution d'une souffrance précédente et qui se transformera fort certainement en une souffrance à venir, soit parce qu'on est séparé, soit parce qu'on est frustré ou on a un peu de.
So that's the first moment of pleasure, which follows some manifest suffering. So we have some sense of pleasure, but this one is the pleasant sensation, the pleasant feeling, which is the suffering of change. Because slowly it will become more suffering.
So the pleasant feeling is a suffering change. This is what Virginia 18 is saying. Huh? Pleasant feeling. Okay, how is pleasant feeling suffering? It changes to suffering, the manifest suffering. Okay, for example, say eating cheesecake. Eating cheesecake, what's the problem? No, don't eat too much. Eat just little, a small piece, you enjoy it, finish. Then you don't have to suffer. What's the problem? Yes,
so, for example, enjoying eating cheesecake or ice cream or whatever, it's suffering of change because we perceive it as happiness, but in fact it's contaminated. It makes because we don't see it as it exists. It makes the afflictions grow.
How? just eat the cheesecake. Some people, they are the expert drinkers. They take one pack, finish. Pack, right? Sophia, what is that? The wine. They take one alcohol. They take one pack and they finish. They stop there. Some people they cannot control 2, 3, 4, 5. But some people they have a very good control, moderation. Right? Just take one, finish. What's the problem?
Even one spoon. Because
what's the problem?
Because we see it as in the nature of happiness, but
it doesn't matter. You see happiness. Whereas it is happy for you, that's fine. What's wrong with it? Objective, subjective, it doesn't matter.
It's not happiness.
Why not?
Because it's contaminated.
No, in what way is contaminated?
It makes the afflictions. It makes the afflictions grow, it makes the afflictions.
No. So make sure the afflictions do not grow. Stop the afflictions. eat the cheesecake and don't let the afflictions grow. What's the problem?
The moment you enjoy this cake, seeing it as truly existent, then the afflictions are increasing.
Not necessarily. Attachment increases. Not necessarily. Some people are very good at moderation. Amazing.
Not necessarily attachment, also ignorance.
Huh?
Also ignorance. All afflictions, they are increasing because of the...
No, the ignorance, we're already very rich. There's nothing to increase anymore. We already reached the limit of the infinity. We are so expert. Okay.
But some people can start to eat sugar, for example, but si je commence à manger du sucre, I cannot stop to eat, and I want more and more and more, and so I take the kilo.
So it's not the problem of it's not the problem of the cheesecake. It's the problem of your habit, right? It's the problem of your lack of the control. That's the problem, right? It's lack of. No, lack of control is suffering. But the cheesecake was the problem. Okay, Tashila.
Like a new car.
Okay, this is very important. suffering change. If you don't identify that as a suffering, you will just give, you heard something from some teaching, or even the happiness that we have, they will change into suffering. We take it so vaguely, we take for granted. When if somebody really pushes you, you don't really understand it. So we should be very precise as to what exactly is suffering change. Number one, suffering change. In what way? First we have to give an example. Once you get an example, you have to explain how that is suffering, number one. Number two, we have to explain how that is change. Something of change. Yes, Tashila?
So a new car, I bought a new car, then for my own happiness, then somebody,
scratches the new car.
Scratches the car, then I feel like upset.
As though your heart is scratched.
Yes.
Right? You feel so upset.
Yes.
Yes. So which one? Do you have new car as a problem, or to have the upsetting feelings the problem?
Like if the car itself is the source of happiness, it doesn't change. Things, somebody scratch and then I feel whatever.
No, the good car, the brand new car is a source of happiness. Scratch is a source of pain, right?
Yeah.
So the brand new car is not the source of problem. The source of problem is the scratch.
Something will change with that. There shouldn't be any change. The thing is, I love my car, and that's why I bought a new car. Then somebody scratches, then I get mad.
Okay, so what's the problem? In what way to have the car is a problem? In what way?
There shouldn't be any suffering. Like if I, the nature of the car is itself is happy, there shouldn't be any change. The thing is, when I bought the car, then somebody just scratches.
Somebody scratches it, you feel the pain, or you feel so upset.
Yes.
So how is that suffering?
Because then.
Okay, let's not say that this is happiness, but how that is suffering.
I feel.
You feel upset.
Yes.
You feel upset not because of the new car, because of the scratch. Scratch is the new car, not the new car. Right? You are upset by the scratch, not by the new car. New car, excitement comes.
Yeah,
Scratch comes because of the upsetting comes because of the scratch. Scratch is the problem, not the new car. Okay, Sophia.
I think it's because we think new car is a source of happiness. That's the reason I'm suffering.
Okay, so that's all we said. You're getting it. This is a very important discussion. If you don't identify what is the suffering of change, then the next suffering. What's the next suffering?
Or pervasive.
Pervasive condition suffering is impossible for us to see that as suffering. Okay, Sophia, say it again.
The problem is that if we think the new car is the source of happiness, this is the suffering of change. We see it as being the source of our own happiness. when it's not.
Okay, let's say the joy of having a new car. Is that a problem? Is that a suffering? It's not suffering.
Joy is not a problem, but
The joy of having a new car, is that a suffering of change or not? No?
it's to think it is the source of my happiness.
Okay, so to think that the joy of getting a new car or getting a new car is a source of happiness, to think the new car is a source of happiness, this is something change. This is what I say. Okay, not the joy of the suffering, joy of getting a new car. This is not a problem. This is no problem. Okay, so it's very dangerous. If Sophia becomes a teacher, one should be very strict. Number two says, okay, the joy itself is not a problem. You get it? It's a problem. Joy is a problem. Right? It's a problem. Okay. But
well, I don't have the answer, I guess, but I have a feeling sometimes like when you're in a family party and everything is very nice, but I get a feeling like, oh, but it's not gonna last.
it will not last.
Yeah,
Oh.
so, but I'm not, because that's kind of suffering, so probably that's suffering of suffering. But it's,
Okay.
but it's a bit like a twisted feeling, or in that moment, like everything is funny, but it's not.
Okay, so what Buzz is saying is a very important point, although it is not really related to suffering change, but the what he's saying is very important point. See, many people, when they are to the parties, or not really parties is, let's say, the family gathering,
Yeah.
beautiful family gathering, Christmas and so forth. When they are there, they just feel so overjoyed. They are consumed by that merriment, and then when that comes to an end, then they feel the pain. Okay, now it came to an end. This is a problem. But some people, the moment you see this, you feel the pain right there. You getting it? You feel the pain right there. Okay, this will not last. It's beautiful, but it will not last. Okay, so this means that you have the imprints from the past life of the Dharma practice. This is very precious. Those who can foresee the problems, they are somehow related to Dharma practice, or imprints. Past imprints are there of the Dharma practice, which is so precious. Many people do not feel that. Only when it comes to the end, then they will feel the problem. When they begin, they're just carried away. Whereas some people, the moment naturally a feeling of pain comes to you, that it will not live, it will not last. Okay, this is very precious. Precious, you have to continue this journey, this very precious journey. Okay, now we did not get any answer. Okay, let's see, Ishaq.
La souffrance créée par les guerres, les catastrophes naturelles et les relations quand un ami devient un ennemi.
So the suffering is created by wars or problems in the environment and
Les relations humaines.
relationships change, you know, a friend becomes an enemy becomes friend.
Okay, our relationships change, which means when the friend becomes enemy, is this a problem? That is suffering change. That is what everybody identifies as suffering, right? So that's suffering, it's not suffering change.
In the war.
The war is suffering. Nobody likes that. Everybody identifies war as suffering. Okay, now 2 more hands. Okay, 3. The Thomas?
Don't accept impermanence.
Huh?
No acceptation of the law of impermanence.
Okay, not accepting the law of impermanence. This is suffering of change.
It's a result. Yeah.
Okay, suffering change is the result of not accepting the law of impermanence. Is what I'm saying? Okay, now the Virginia 19.
It is the same, the belief.
No.
It's the belief that things are permanent when they are not permanent.
Okay, things are permanent when they are not permanent.
Yes, the belief.
Okay, things are permanent. Is this happy or this is unhappy?
But that creates
That's the cause. The cause of the suffering changes. This is what you're saying? Yes. Okay. Okay, let us not forget this. Okay, now the Howard.
If I'm attached to a manifest pleasure that will necessarily won't last, then that is actually the suffering of change.
Say it again. The attachment to the
manifest pleasure that will not remain.
Okay, attachment to the manifest pleasure which will not last.
Yes.
So that attachment is the problem, or the manifest pleasure is the problem?
The state itself is.
Which state? State of the attachment or state of the pleasure?
The pleasure that is being experienced with that state of attachment.
Okay, that pleasure.
Yeah, is the suffering of change.
Okay, that pleasure was the problem with
because
this.
Implicit within it is the suffering to come.
Okay, so that is the suffering which is bound to come. That is a problem, not the pleasure.
It's implicit within the state itself.
How?
Because that state, when that state changes, it will cause the suffering of suffering.
Whereas if you don't feel the suffering later on, then it's fine, right?
But you will if you have that.
No, it's not necessary. For example, I am enjoying this juice, right? Next moment when the juice finishes, I don't mind.
Then you don't have the attachment to it.
Okay, which means that the joy of enjoying this, the juice is not suffering change.
Not if you don't have that attachment to it.
No.
You want it to remain.
Yeah. Okay. Mike?
So I know you like to be precise with the words, so I'm going to do my best. Before you're born, you're not suffering, but after you're born, there's a change of suffering. So the process of being born, of coming into the world.
I'm in past life.
No,
I was in past life, I was suffering.
Coming into your new life.
Yeah, coming to new life is a suffering. Before born also suffering.
Before, right, but not in between.
In between is pardon, is also suffering.
Okay, then thank you.
Okay, what happened? Those from last year, the 2018 retreats. Hey, what happened to you? As though like so those people who are newly joining, they will think that there's no point in this retreat. Look at those from 2018, right? They have nothing to say. Hey, 2018, wake up. Or do you want to represent? Okay, two. Old and Martin. Old, yes.
Le fait que les sensations plaisantes ne durent pas.
The fact that the pleasant feelings don't endure.
Pleasant feelings don't endure. Not enduring pleasant feeling. This is what he's talking about. Not enduring pleasant feeling is what everybody identifies as suffering. Okay, now, okay, Martin, now.
The cause is attachment.
Huh?
The cause for
the cause of happiness.
The cause of suffering is attachment.
The cause of suffering is attachment. So what's the problem?
This is the definition.
Okay, cause of suffering is attachment.
Yeah,
so
when the cause of suffering is attachment.
So what is the suffering change? Suffering or the cause of suffering? We are identified in suffering change.
The cause of suffering of change is attachment, which causes suffering.
Cause of suffering, change. The cause of the suffering change is the cause of the suffering change.
No,
this is what I'm
attachment.
saying. Or attachment
Yeah.
is the cause of the suffering change.
Yeah.
What's the suffering change?
Suffering is
First we have to identify what the suffering change is, then you have to identify what the cause is.
Yeah, but the suffering of change is when things are changing, as with all the examples we said before were right from this view. It's not that they did identify the attachment as the cause
Yes.
of the change, or of the suffering.
Yes, attachment is the cause of the suffering change. This is what you're saying.
Yeah.
What suffering change is all the others, what others have given examples. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that examples that they have given, they are not suffering change. They are suffering. Okay, the Laura and Buzz. Laura first.
I don't know if this is the correct answer, but it seems like the suffering change must be linked to our non-recognition of that as suffering. So it's kind of like linked to ignorance somehow. So we don't recognize while we're in the suffering change that it is suffering. So that's like partly why it's the suffering change.
Now, what examples do you have?
For example, the one that's given often where you go to sit in the shade because it's hot outside.
Which is the problem? Sitting in the shade is a problem, or hot outside is a problem?
The problem is that we're in this world where it doesn't last.
Not lasting, that's a problem.
You get cold, so you have to go out into the sun.
Not lasting is a problem.
Yeah, not lasting is a problem.
Not lasting, good thing is a problem.
Yeah.
That is suffering, right? Not lasting, good thing is a suffering, it's not suffering change. Okay, Buzz.
Yeah. It's like getting in the shade when it's hot, but it's the same. But it's actually because the heat is the problem. So we're ending our we're getting in the shade. We think that that's happiness, but that the origination is in suffering.
In future, you should be able to ask these questions to the teachers who to teach you, suffering change. From the sun you go to shade, suffering change. Which is suffering? You have to ask the teachers. You never ask these questions to your teachers. In the shade is the problem, or the sun is the problem. You have to ask these questions. Because you do not ask the questions, you just take what you learned. Then when I ask this question, you get in problem. You cannot identify what the suffering change is. Right? Okay, maybe the last one.
I think we had many examples of suffering of change. For example, enjoying a new car, enjoying ice cream.
No, my question is what is suffering change? Give me one example.
So we had examples. Now, why?
No, that's not true.
These are.
And my question is not why. The first is what examples do you have?
For example, enjoying a new car, enjoying ice cream, enjoying.
Okay, enjoying new car. Okay, that's good. Enjoying new car, the joy of new car, the joy of experiencing ice cream. This is suffering change. Tell me, how is this suffering, number one? And why it is known as change? Then, did you follow that question?
Fear.
The one thing is, what examples do we have for suffering change? Is all mundane happiness, they are suffering change. All mundane happiness is suffering change. Let's not forget this. All mundane happiness is suffering change. Right? Then the question is, if the mundane happiness, for example, enjoying ice cream, enjoying cheesecake, if that is suffering change, how is that suffering in the first place? Then why is known as suffering change? Two elements. Okay.
Because of the contaminated karma, so whatever you seeking happiness is turned into suffering.
How?
Because the basis is
contaminated karma.
Yeah.
So if the basis is contaminated karma, how can we say that this happiness will change to suffering?
Because the root is unimportant. So whatever you enjoy is actually.
For example, let's say we should be very realistic. The Buddha's teachings that very realistic is nothing to do with that you have to believe in it. Right? If you don't agree, yes, say you don't agree. For example, let's say I give you an example. Some people they are very good at taking the wine, just one glass, finish, stop. Very good moderation, control is amazing. So they take this and they enjoy this, and then the next moment there's no suffering. What's the problem? You're getting it. Whereas if there's no control, you take it over and over again, then the problems arise. then the severe problems arise. That's one thing. But there are times where people with very good control, they just enjoy the first pet, finish, then stop it. What's the problem? Okay, this is extremely important. Or something new came to your mind? Or the same problem?
C'est juste dire comme en fait Virginie 2019, c'est je pense le fait de rendre permanentes les choses impermanentes, c'est ça en fait.
So exactly like Virginia 2019 said, she believes something impermanent as permanent.
Okay, to believe something impermanent is permanent. Whereas if you see this is impermanent, then there's no problem. If you're enjoying the juice and you know that it's impermanent, then it's not a suffering change. Okay, this is extremely important. Yes, Kunjana?
I think these enjoyments, mundane enjoyments, they are suffering because we misperceive them as happiness, while in reality they are just temporary relief from
but they are relief, right?
the all-pervasive components of
But they're relief or not?
They are temporary relief.
They are temporary relief, which means they're relief. Relief is good. Okay.
Or we perceive them as a relief. This is a misperception.
Okay. So now, what happened to the residents, those who are from the 2018? Residents? Residents, those who are from 2018, don't pretend as though like you're coming here for the first time. 2018, raise your hands. Anna Sophie, no answer. No answer, Anna Sophie. Kukiela, no answer. Patrick, no answer.
Non, je crois que depuis le début, un plaisir qui est ressenti comme un plaisir, depuis le début, il est souffrance du changement.
From the beginning, a pleasure which is experienced as pleasure is the suffering of change.
How? How is that suffering?
Parce que ça...
Okay, Maria, finish. No. You are absent last year.
Je pensais que c'est un sentiment d'insatisfaction.
Feeling of insatisfaction.
Oui, c'est un sentiment d'insatisfaction qui est en permanence à l'être, quel que soit comme la tristesse qui peut s'élever sans savoir ni pour qui ni pourquoi alors qu'on était bien. C'est cette insatisfaction permanente.
It's a kind of dissatisfaction which can arise anytime, like sadness, which can arise anytime when even if we have a nice situation.
Okay, so the Kunjana failed. Anna Sophie no answer. Maria failed. Patrick failed. Odd failed. The Odd Hamo failed. Christopher, Odd Hamo? Odd Hamo, this one is Odd Hamo. Odd Hamo and Odd Tenzin over there. There are two Odds. Odd Hamo and Odd Tenzin. Okay, then Daniela. Okay, Daniela was absent last year. Daniela was not absent present last year. And then who else? And then our Virginia 18. Virginia 18 was missing last year. And then who else? And then the Venerable Elizabeth, she was busy, I know, last year. And then they can finish. Martin, yes? Martin? No, she was not there last year.
Yes, I was.
No, but for this topic, she was not there.
One more.
She like yes.
All contaminated things are suffering. So whatever you're seeking at, because of our ignorance, we thought that it's happiness, but when it changes to suffering.
Before it changes, it was happiness.
Like all the contaminated things are suffering.
Yes,
That's
yes, yes.
why whatever you say is not changing.
So the point is, yes, I agree with you, all contaminated things are suffering. But my question is, how enjoying this juice, of course it's contaminated, how is enjoying the juice is suffering? That's my question. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so now the 2018, right? Okay, Christopher.
Because it is a bait. Yes.
How?
Bait.
Bait. How?
It's a bait.
How?
Because it's a trap. we are, it seems that it is happiness, it is a kind of illusion. We feel that we can be happy without, but it is not.
How? Yes, of course it is happiness. What's the problem? Okay. Okay, now the 2018 people, how many of you raise hands? Punishment, penalty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, Katie. Katie, what's the answer?
Selon moi, c'est un appât, c'est l'appât. C'est-à-dire, on est attiré sur quelque chose, on y va, on se trompe sur la qualité de quelque chose, et après, on souffre parce qu'on s'est trompé.
That's a bait.
How?
Because it was mistaken. We put some qualities on something that we were mistaken.
No, how is the bait? How is the bait? Yes, Kathy, now there's hope there. One answer coming from Kathy, one answer coming from Christophe, there's a hope. But Christophe, at the middle, he could not continue.
Qui voit un petit morceau de fromage, elle y va et elle se fait. Elle est dans un piège. Elle est dans le piège. Elle est dans le piège de recommencer, d'en prendre trop, d'y revenir, de se tromper, et puis on y retourne.
For instance, the mouse who sees some piece of cheese on a trap.
Wow, very precise, yes. Very precise, but my question still remains, in what way the mundane joys are bait? In what way? In what way? In what way? Okay, now the hope lies in Kathy. How is it? For example, let's say the mouse and cheese. This is example. Now the real illustration. For example, the enjoyment of this juice. What's the problem? In what way this is a bait? Okay. Now there's a new hand coming up, but I'd like to listen to Kathy. In what way this is a bait? Bait is a very strong word.
Parce que j'en bois un verre, c'est bien. Et puis le deuxième, c'est un moins bien, parce que physiquement, ça ne supporte pas, ou quelque chose comme ça, et qu'on se connaît mal. Enfin, c'est tout un circuit qui fait que il n'y a pas qu'une seule cause qui intervient.
So there is not only one cause. So maybe we take one glass, then it's okay. But after we want to take another one, then another one, and we don't know ourselves very well, and many kind of conditions.
No. So for that, I said people who have a great control. Just take the first peg and moderation. Stop. Okay, now the new hand, Frank, and then Venerable Elizabeth. So there's thus far no complete answer. From Christopher, from Katila, half answer came. Very good. Okay, now the Frank.
I think you can never satisfy desire. So you have desire for a glass of juice, and you have it, and immediately something else will come up, like another desire for another product. Because you're always looking to find happiness. So you have it somewhere temporarily, and then you look for something else. You never actually experience the desire.
Okay, I agree with Frank, with many of the people, but it's not always the case. Some people, they have a great control.
Yeah, you look for something else. Like then when you feel sleepy, you go to sleep. You keep on looking for satisfaction.
Okay, then what about those people who to form practice of Dharma, right? Practice Dharma. Oh, this is nice. Then you go for more and more Dharma practice. This is also a desire. This is also a desire. Because it keeps increasing. This is also desire.
I think so.
It's bad.
It's not necessarily bad. No.
So the desire is not necessarily bad. So what's the problem? Okay, Venerable Elizabeth. Now finally, the last.
Happiness coming from one object
Yes.
can be very fragile, because this happiness can turn into suffering when the object disappears. But inner happiness is a much more stable thing, because it doesn't depend on the object.
So what we learn is that, okay, what's the problem? Say for example, say this juice. This juice. Okay, let's say flower. We know that this flower are very fragile, they will disappear. As long as they last, we use them. At the moment they become old, we throw. So what's the problem?
If we build up inner happiness, the stability through Dharma practice,
Yes.
then if the flower disappears,
It is not stable. Although it is not stable, but what it lasts, it is nice. There's nothing wrong with it. While it lasts, yes, while it lasts, it is a happiness. It is not suffering. Right? While it lasts. When it disappears, then it becomes suffering.
depending on the Dharma.
Exactly is what I'm saying. So, depending on you, if you are a good Dharma practitioner, then the enjoying a flower does not suffering change. Yes, no. Okay, the answer is all contaminated happiness, they are all mundane happiness, they are suffering change. Let us not forget this. Okay, now the last hand, Virginia 19.
Because it's a delusion. It's a delusion that it's happiness, because it's impermanent. It's not permanent. It's not ultimate happiness, and we take that as happiness as if it was ultimate, and it's not.
Okay, what Virginia is saying is, Virginia 19 is saying, is that, okay, say the joy of cheesecake, you see it as, actually it is the illusion. So you say illusory happiness as the real happiness. If you see the illusory happiness and you enjoy it, what's wrong with it?
No, because if you feel this happiness, because it's not stable happiness, it's related to.
Okay, it's not happiness. This is what I'm saying. Whether it's happiness or happiness doesn't matter. As long as I enjoy it, it's fine. What's wrong with it? Okay, so now this is a problem. We didn't get the answer from 2018. Right? How many people are there? Martin, Virginia 18. Then we have here. Okay, the Mark last year. You were there, Mark. Right? Mark didn't give the answer. Then Oath Ramo. Oath Ching, right?
Both oaths were there.
No, Oath Ching.
Sorry?
Oath Ching. Oath Ching. Yeah, the one sitting on the chair. Tenzin Oath.
Before you said Lamo.
Oh, Oath Tenzin. Okay. And then KD gave out the half answer. Christoph gave the half answer. And Venerable the Elizabeth, that I didn't get answer. Okay. Patrick didn't get the answer. The Maria, no. The Daniela, no. And Sophie, no. And Michaela, no.
I have it here, I can read out loud.
Okay, so luckily 2 of them gave half of answer. At least 2019 people, they were thinking that next year we will also give half answer. Right? Okay, we'll stop here. We'll stop here. Om Gati Gati Aragati Arasangati Bodhisvara Om Gati Gati Aragati
gati gati paragati parasamgati bodhisva